Representative Grove.
I appreciate your time, Lee. Mr. Secretary, good to see you. Good morning. First, to piggyback on personnel costs, your state funds within your budget presentation shows 11.93% increase in personnel costs and state funds. Is that contractually driven?
Are you able to answer this, Kristen?
Yes, it's a combination of two things. One, our filled complement at the budget request was much higher than the filled complement at the time of the rebudget for the current year. So it's not a change in the number of authorized positions, it's just that we have more positions filled, as well as contractual increases and benefit increases.
What are your continued growth for contract year over year for the next, how long was the contract? Was it a 3-year contract the governor signed with
I'd have to get back to you. It's either
employees?
3 or 4 years.
Are we going to see 11% growth in that line item moving forward? Is it going to be less? Because 11% growth is a very high number.
I don't know. I'd have to get back to you on that.
All right.
To the extent that it's driven by temporary changes and actually filling positions that are currently vacant, then I wouldn't expect that number to continue.
But we still have the contract, correct?
Yes.
Of
that is
increases
correct.
year over year. I mean, for anything, 11% growth when we have, 3 to 4% revenue growth is far exceeding our ability to pay. Apply that
Understood.
over. I mean, we're asking personnel costs. Fixed costs, 153% increase, 528,000 to 1.3 million dollars. What's that?
Can we go back to the 11% growth? I show
Yeah.
that our GGO personnel budget increased by 7%, not 11%. So maybe we can exchange numbers and clarify
Yeah, no,
that.
it's 11.93%,
I can't see that.
$10.4 million.
Okay. Is that in total or for our
That is
general government?
personnel, GGO, SAP 10208. 2019-2020 budgeted, 97.678 million. Change budgeted versus a million, 10.4 million, 11.93% in state funds.
So we'll look at that and get back to
Yeah.
you.
I mean, you have a decrease in, quote, other funds of negative 3.5, which is negative 24, so your overall under personnel is 6.82. But your state fund total is 11.93% growth.
Okay, I think that the difference there, if you look at the total, we also redistributed our augmentation, our other funds that you mentioned, between personnel and operating. So our total personnel costs only went up by 7%. We had reallocated where we apply augmentation funds from personnel to operating because personnel costs are a very fixed cost and operating can vary along with the uncertainty of augmentation funding sources. So the total cost for personnel only went up by 7%. It's just that we shifted the allocation of state funds and augmentation funds between
Okay.
those two. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. 7's still high. Fixed asset, state funds. Did you again shift augmentation? Because, well, it's not a big drop, but you have an $807,000 increase in fixed assets as well. What do you consider fixed assets?
Fixed assets are commodities that exceed $5,000 per item. So sometimes things switch between operating and fixed assets depending on costs.
Computers, cars, handguns.
We don't
Just
buy
kidding.
handguns.
Just kidding.
No handguns.
That's a different agency. All right. Within your contract for modernization, the total is $42.2 million, correct? I was going through the contract last night, all 502 pages of Part 1. You have $44.2 million. That was the total for years 1 through 5.
And you're talking about the total payment to Fast Enterprises? Is that
Yep.
what you're looking at? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so in the current year, 10.2 million.
Okay. But the total for the project for 5 years is 44.2 million.
That looks correct. I don't have that specific number. but-
Okay. I was looking through the contract, and then there's this years 6 through 10 of maintenance fees and application support, which total $42.5 million. Have you signed that contract yet? Is that a proposal by them, or can you just explain that?
Sure. So after the success of the first two rollouts of the FAST system, we did sign a contract extension with them that takes the total to 10 years and allows us to get all of our tax system implemented into what we're calling PATH, the new integrated system. And that will take in the business taxes and bring it all into one common system. And in the long run, that will reduce our costs, because in the absence of that contract extension, we would have been paying for maintenance and upgrades for two different systems with very high price tags. This contract extension allows us to get on one platform with one set of maintenance expenditures that should be both better and cheaper in the long run.
So should that contract have been listed at 87.7 million instead of the 44.2? Because what's posted on the e-contract website is 44.2 for years 1 through 5, but you have years 6 through 10. If you sign that contract for the maintenance and application support, that's another $42.5 million. So the total should be 84.71 million?
I can't
Yes
speak
or
to
no?
I can't speak to what's on their website, but yes, we did sign that contract extension, so that is in place.
All right, so it's 84.71 over 10 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Very good.
thank you.